Team 경기장 도시형.
All right, guys, let's start things off with a bang over in the lower left part of the map in the red. Leading off for the Team Prime, it is Terius, formerly of FXO/FOU. And over here in the teal, Roxanne, you don't have to put on your red light. It's actually Sting.
I'm gonna look away from him for
from
a while.
the Team NSHoSeo.
You can only see his vision. You can't see him
That's
anymore.
right. Don't
Anyway,
worry. That's the
okay.
last Sting impression I'll do.
Formerly Hoon MVP, apparently.
Yeah, that's right. He did used to play on MVP, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that, but since that is his ID, it's probably an account he is using. Of course, this was played, I would assume, on the Korean server, just because they're both Korean teams.
Yep. Yes, it indeed was. So this is their normal accounts, or so I would assume, unless they're trying to hide results or something like that.
Yeah.
But
you know, interesting thing about Terious.Prime, when I was in Korea, whenever like anyone would be practicing at the Gome House with a Zerg, it would always be Terius. For some reason, everyone would be like, "Yeah, I'm practicing this, you know, X versus Zerg," and I'm like, "Oh, who are you practicing with?" And they'd be like, "Oh, it's Terious.Prime." I'm like, everybody practices with this guy. I mean, it sounds like he's really willing and interested to play with a lot of foreigners over there. I know he's helped a lot of people prepare for their GSL Code A matches. So,
sure.
Yeah, he's he's pretty well known in over in Korea, especially in the Gome House.
Well, that's really cool. I like hearing that. So,
I'm glad you like hearing that.
Oh, well, I'm glad you're glad that I like hearing that. So we're going to see what he ends up moving into in just a bit. Nothing too out of the ordinary coming up for Sting. Looks like he'll eventually move into Reactored Hellions. His opponent, though, Terius, did decide to drop down Hatch first.
Yep.
And we'll see how quick. He's already up to 16 supply, though, as far as that pool comes.
Yeah, we've been seeing some Zergs get that 15 hatch and then go like 16 pool or 17 pool even. Looks like he will be going for a 17 gas, 16 pool most likely. And that's just a way to make sure that you have an extra little bit of drones out. You can get your Zerglings out, get the speed quickly without sacrificing quite as much economy. And
17 pool. Wow.
yeah, 17 pool. That's actually pretty common nowadays.
Yeah, all right. So,
yeah. You know, actually, it's funny. Earlier last year, like in April, I think it was, Maus Maro was teaching me to play Zerg, and he was going 16 hatch, 17 pool every game versus Terran. At the time, I was like, "Are you actually crazy?" And he's like, "No, just try it. You have so many drones, you can hold anything off." So I started doing it, and sure enough, it's a great opening. It's a superior opening, I feel, and now it's really started to catch on.
And very smart there by Terius as well to check around his base, make sure there's no proxies, no bunkers, nothing that would give him a problem here in the very beginning part of the game. Sting makes his way through, though, sees exactly when the spawning pool is going to come up, so he has a pretty good read on his opponent's timings. Now, of course, it's kind of funny, though, to see that, though, hatch, then gas, then pool, because the pool finishes when the factory is actually a vast majority of the way completed, and that's actually into Tier 2 tech. So it's just kind of always weird to see that pop up. It just makes for kind of an odd visual. But it is going to be a Reactored Hellion opening, probably an expand for Mr. Sting.
It just kind of shows you how much later the Terran players are getting their second base than the Zerg players right now, and it's something to kind of consider. You know, a lot of Terran players are doing this Reactored Hellion because how safe it is, but you really can see, like you mentioned, just how much later your second expansion is because of it. So you really need to get in there and do some damage early on with the Hellions, or at least try to contain a bit. And if you don't, you know, the Zerg has a little bit of an advantage at the start of nearly every game. So, yeah, kind of an interesting observation if you kind of think about the metagame and everything with that.
First couple of Hellions are making their way out now, and nothing too out of the ordinary for either of these players quite yet. Feelings running around the map now. Let's see here. Yeah, Terry has found his opponent, but it looks like he's just checking around now. These lings will eventually be split up for map control purposes, I would assume. But, all right. No player has really shown their tech quite yet. It looks like Terius actually pulled off of gas after getting that 104 Zergling speed, just leaving one on there right now.
Yep. Again, something that's pretty normal these days. A lot of Zergs like to get as many drones as they can, obviously. So pulling guys off gas after you get Zergling speed is pretty much the norm. And, you know, we might see him throw down a Roach Warren if he feels a little bit of pressure from these Hellions. He does have to cancel those creep tumors. One doesn't get canceled, but he should be safe against this, and doesn't look like Sting is going to send any more Hellions, so yeah, he should be fine.
Right. Let's see here, though. We do have a starport following this up, so we may have that. I was going to say initially a Banshee follow-up, and okay, there is the Tech Lab coming up now.
Yeah, it might be Banshees. He might also just decide to go ahead and get a medevac out of that, too, and do some sort of Banshee drop play as well. That's a bit popular, but we'll see. The Banshee after Reactored Hellion has been really common lately. We've seen players like MMA doing that. Queen getting a little bit singed, but it's okay. It's nearly fireproof.
It's okay for now, but a few Zerglings have made their way into the natural, and ooh, our poor SEV does die there. This is going to have to be canceled in just a second, but Barracks finishing up there. We do have a switch over to Banshees now off of this, so Reactored Hellion into Banshee. A few Links just waiting for their opportunity.
Yeah, there's kind of this little awkward timing where Zerg can get in there and delay your expansion a little bit. Well, at least delay use of it anyway. If they can get Zerglings in there at just the right time. It's kind of annoying. Gets you to pull your Hellions back, and that gives Zerg a little bit room to breathe. But not a huge problem for Sting at all. You know, you can see he just pulled it back and stayed a little bit safer. Oh, but there is the Baneling nest for Terious.Prime. So it looks like we're probably going to see some pretty standard Mutiling play in this game. But, oh, nice move with the Zerglings, though. And, barely
not
going
to get on through. Not going to get on through, but that's okay. Looks like he'll try and clean up a couple of Hellions here. One falls really quickly. Another one's going to go down here in a second, but the Links will eventually all be cleared up. Oh, Hellion survives just at the last second. Yeah. Now, back on Terius' side of things, yeah, we mentioned the Baneling Nest. That's coming up at the moment. But we do have Cloak following up these Banshees, but this is actually quite a bit later than the Banshees were actually started. I figured he was just going to bypass that because he had gone through the entire build time of one Banshee without even beginning it.
Well, it's kind of interesting. I mean, Cloak, I'm not so sure how I feel about getting Cloak at this point because, you know, like we're seeing here, it's delaying a lot of things that could be maybe a little bit more useful than Cloak. I mean, by the time the Banshees get there, there could very well, no, the Spire won't be done yet. So the Banshees could get in and do some damage, but I don't know, it's a big investment. It seems like you really are going to need for your Banshees to do a lot of damage for it to be really worth it to get Cloak in this situation.
And Spinecrawler rooting itself, just taking a little bit of damage before it gets down. Nice sense of timing there. Yeah, nice sense of timing, though, by Sting to do the maximum possible damage to it. If he was following that up with any sort of an attack, it's always good to soften things up for free when you can. And let's see here, 2 Banshees out. The third one is trying to be started, but unfortunately, Sting is supply blocked.
You know, the whole, like, Spinecrawler burrowing thing, it always kind of made me laugh a little bit, because, like, the Zerg, they're like, we need stronger carapace, and Overmind's like, upgrade it right now, evolve it, we can do it in minutes, and someone's like, we need the Spinecrawler to burrow faster, and the Overmind's like, nope. I don't think that's possible. I'm sorry. It's like, come on, Overmind.
Sorry.
Get your priorities right.
Not in the cards.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, we have a couple of attacks going on at once. All these Zerglings are pulled away at the moment. They're actually not going to continue running towards their opponent. This Queen going to bite the dust right away. There's only one Spore Crawler coming up at the moment, and an Overseer is actually morphing in as well. But these Banshees are going to do quite a bit of damage until that actually happens.
Yeah, very nice. It looks like Terious.Prime wasn't expecting this at all, and Sting is going to do a ton of damage with these Banshees.
Yes, he is, as a matter of fact. It looks like he's cleaning up the Queens as well. He's going to be able to out-DPS the one Queen that is remaining, and it falls down. The Spore Crawler has completed, but there's nothing over here over at the natural.
Oh, man, yeah, this is pretty bad for our Zerg player.
No.
He does have another Spore Crawler going down to the natural now, so the Banshee harassment is, you know, probably going to near a bit of an end, especially with the Mutalisk coming out, but that did okay. Let's see, 11 kills on that one. How many kills does that one have?
Come here, Banshee. 14.
14.
Wow.
Okay, so yeah, I would certainly call that worth it.
Yes.
Yeah, if he had gotten in there and only gotten like 5 or 6 drones or something like that, not worth it at all, but that's not too bad.
Yeah, 20's okay.
Bad.
All right, so you take a look at the workers now, 46 to 51, and there is a third command center up now for Sting. And looks like he's going over to a reactored starport now. He knows that there's mutas on the field as well. We'll see how he reacts to that. For the time being, he's throwing down an armory as he gets a bunch of upgrades and just filling out his marine count.
Yeah, it's kind of the question now is, you know, if Terius is going to be able to make enough mutas to really do some significant harassment for it. Oh, one Banshee gets all the way back. Nicely done.
Yes, it does.
And, yeah, a lot of mutas being produced right now for Terious.Prime. Basically, everything he's got is going into Mutalisks with just the extra minerals being used for Zerglings. And, I don't know, he's going to have to do some damage with this, but it looks like Sting is getting ready with some missile turrets. He's getting his bio upgrades.
Yeah, nothing over at the natural right now, though. How many mutas are on the ground? 10. Okay, that's a decent but not great number. And let's see here. Continued Siege Tank production, 5 Marines at a time. High-tech auto-tracking as well, so wants those turrets to be as effective as possible.
You know, I actually like that decision to get high-sec auto-tracking by Sting. It's interesting. I mean, a lot of Terrans try to kind of get by with minimal turrets because it's a minimal investment, and you know, high-sec auto tracking isn't all that expensive. And I don't know, I like that. I think I could see more Terrans getting that in the future. I actually might start getting that myself.
Well, it's just nice because you have Zerg players who are so used to how far turrets can actually fire, so they run their Mutamicro around that.
Yeah,
they don't plan for missile turret range or anything like that. So sometimes it just throws people up enough that it stops Muta harassment.
Well, that's very true. I mean, especially if you're the type of Terran that likes to go mech, I could see that being very useful.
Sure.
But, you know, a lot of those minor upgrades kind of get ignored by Terran, but we'll see. Let's check out that turret range. That turret just wasn't paying attention, apparently.
Yeah, evidently.
He just didn't want to fire early on, I guess.
That's just a bad turret.
Yeah.
All right.
A large group of Mutalisks, too. Wow, and he's going to get the reactor on the starport, probably the barracks, too.
Yeah, very nice.
Oh,
very,
man.
very nice.
Yeah.
Looks like a few Marines are being sent back right now, but wow, not even a single Muta goes down. A nice little win there for Terius.
Yeah, very nicely done here. Supply-wise, our Terran player is a little bit ahead, and just the fact that he's keeping up with the Zerg at this stage in the game is pretty good. Looks like that Banshee is going to escape again.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah, no
All
kidding.
right, so we do have another base that's about to be started down at the bottom right-hand corner. That is critical for Terius right now because he is only on equal bases with his Terran opponent at the moment, and his Terran opponent's going to be able to outproduce him if that's the case.
Yeah, exactly. It becomes pretty easy for Terran to take 3 bases on this map. And after that, Zerg is kind of like, oh boy, what am I going to do? Because if the Terran tries to go for that gold base area, it can be a very easily defended position for him.
Right.
That's the range we were talking about with that.
Yeah, definitely. So the missile turret's a little bit more effective there. Only one Muta has died, but it didn't kill anything in return. So
you know, I think Sting might have gotten off lucky actually there. I don't know if there was even enough Marines there to hold off that group of Mutalisks.
No, I don't think there was either. With the medevacs coming
got a
up,
lot more,
no,
but
he still wouldn't have enough to stand in there and fight. But all right, here it
He
comes
brought
again,
all
though.
of them, maybe, but
Right.
it's a pretty close call. I mean, that's a lot of Mutalisks out
Yes,
right
it
now.
is. Yeah, we have now 17 out at the moment.
It's a decent Muta ball. Murder of Mutas.
Yes, it is. Yes,
Hive
it
on the
is.
way as far as we can see there. A couple more hatcheries going down. And as far as the upgrades go, does he still have just one evolution chamber right now?
I believe so. Let's go ahead and take a look at these Mutalisks, and then I'll go back down and count here in a second, as he is just really trying to bust through this destructible debris. Nice job by Sting to hold that off as long as possible, but now the attack path is open, and he's going to have to defend that.
Yep, that's right. Just another thing for his Terran opponent to worry about. Is pretty good. Looks like just one Evo chamber.
Yeah, that's all I can see. Oh, no, there they are. Okay.
Oh, he does have two.
Yep.
Okay, just only using one Evo chamber at the moment.
Yeah, very true, very true. Okay,
Right.
so we do have Hive Tech on the way. Like you said, there's another base that's finishing up over on the left-hand side that will put him one base up on his Terran opponent. Looks like he decides this is the time. The Terran is making his way across the map, and he forces the Zerg back off the defensive position up at the top. Now, our Terran player retreating thought he was going to go for it there.
Yeah, I think Terius is thinking about maybe counterattacking the third. He could get in there and do some damage and then fly the Mutas away. Yeah, he's doing that and saving some Banelings as well. So is he going to be able to do any significant damage here? I don't know. A lot of Banelings being used on those bunkers. Yeah, it just gets forced away immediately.
Yeah.
Rock solid defense from Sting right now.
Yes, a Roxanne solid defense.
Yes,
and
that's right.
Sting making his way through now, and Creep Tumors being pushed back, very critical at the stage when it's just primarily Banelings there. Oh, a few finish up just in time. Some actually swinging around from the side as well. That wasn't the worst possibility there for Terius, but he just doesn't have enough stuff. I mean, he can't risk those Mutalisks anymore. He's falling way back in supply. He does not really have a defensive position to fall back on. This is looking very, very good for Sting.
Yeah, he's losing a couple Mutas, and they are starting to take some damage here. And I don't know, Terious.Prime is really starting to pull ahead on supply. Sting is going to need to do something about these units out here. Terius is, or Sting is a little bit spread out, so Terius is the one who actually needs to do something about those units there. Sorry for getting those confused. And this is what he's going to try to do. Those Banelings are really clumped up, though.
Yes, they are.
Oh, man.
Wow. The Siege Tank getting 3 right away. We did have a couple that buried themselves down, but no, picked off. No Leenock Fo Yu, and
I don't think this is going to go very well for a Zerg player. That is just too many Marines right now. He's definitely going to lose the third, and GG, he loses the game.
Yep.
팀 경기장 도시양.
Welcome, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2 here between our team down at the bottom left-hand corner. The representative from Prime is Core. He is our red Protoss player. And in the top right-hand corner, we have our other team up 1-0 at the moment. NSHoSeo, their representative, our blue Terran player, is Sting.
Sting.
Yep.
Wish I had more Sting references to make.
I'm glad you don't.
I can't think of any at the moment. I'm sorry.
No, that's quite all right. Don't worry about it. Don't stress yourself.
Sting makes me think of bees. I'm actually afraid of bees.
It's true. Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm afraid of bees. It's the dumbest thing because I know, like, I'm not allergic to bees.
Sure.
So it's not like a bee can do anything other than, like,
Yeah.
sting me, which actually doesn't hurt. I've been stung before.
Right.
But for some reason, I don't know, man, I just kind of freak out when they're around. I don't know. I can handle spiders and snakes and heights and stuff, but...
Speaking of handle spiders, I remember I was at summer camp one year, and a girl had arachnophobia, flipped over a table, Missouri tarantula, one of the largest North American spider species, on the other side, and she just flat passed out.
I had a pet fisher spider when I was in college during the summer. I worked groundskeeping, caught it. I named it Shelob. Lord of the Rings. Yep.
Nice.
There's actually a spider in a web on the ceiling of my room in the rain house the last couple of days. I named him Peter.
Peter?
Yep.
Nice.
Peter Spider. I'd get up in the morning and be like, hey, Peter, how's it going? Catch any bugs? Nope, doesn't look like you did.
Just be hanging out there.
Might want to move on to a more outdoorsy location. Going to work now. Going to cast some games. See you later, Peter.
And we're not going to see a gasless FE now from Sting. It looks like he's going right into gas, normal timing on 13. So
it's a big map for it, though. I'm wondering what he has planned. Obviously, some sort of aggressive move here, but you don't take gas unless you plan on doing something with it. And with a big map like Daybreak, yeah, you have to have some sort of solid plan for doing some damage early, taking advantage of the fact that players of the Protoss variety like to do early expands, Nexus first, as we see, or sometimes Gateway first. Sure. We'll have to see if he can exploit that.
Well, we'll find out here. It looks like he's pulling himself off of gas now. Wants just enough for a tech lab, it appears. We'll find out here in just a second. But Probe's going to make its way in just a second. One Marine popping out. A second actually following this, and he's just mining with one harvester at a time.
Yeah, so it's not going to be like a Reaper expand or anything like that. All right. Might decide to just get a reactor. Just for more Marines and then expand off of that. It's pretty uncommon, but I have seen it once in a while.
Oh, yep. Just pulled right off at 52.
Okay, 52,
there it is.
Yes. Probably will just be a reactor on this third Marine, though. Okay. Interesting. Well, interesting opening from Sting.
Definitely, definitely. We'll find out what that entails here in just a second. Of course, our first gateway is now finished for Core. And he is going into Zealot production afterwards, along with the Cybernetic score coming up. There's our expansion. We expected that part.
More Marines, though. Still no reactor. He's got a specific number of Marines that he wants to get out, it looks like, and then he'll be able to start that reactor. Just wants to stay safe, more or less. You know, you want to have enough Marines out to handle, like, an early Zealot if they send it across the map, which on Daybreak isn't very common, but just in case you don't want to get caught with, like, 2 Marines, you know?
And that Zealot backing away for the moment, pulling back to a couple of probes, so be a little bit easier to defend there. And there's the probes pulled off the line. They are faster than Marines, of course. And
ouch.
Bye-bye, CB.
You know, he's making 2 more barracks right now, and he has not started that reactor yet. This is actually really bizarre. Okay, now he's mining gas again.
I think it may have just been a little bit of a mistake. He thought he was going to do something at the beginning and decided against it.
That's possible, yeah. I suppose that is possible. It's weird, though, that he would stop right at 50 like that.
Right.
Okay. There's a tech lab going down on, excuse me, on one of the barracks. But, yeah, I think you're right. I think it was probably just some sort of changed plan.
Sure. Let's see what Core's coming up with now. Second gas being added. No other tech structures at the moment. Just saving up for... we're not saving up. He's in the process of researching warp gate technology. Now, back here for Sting, he's going to be pretty aggressive in a bit. I mean, 3 racks right now. He's actually going after Concussive Shell as his first upgrade, so kind of an interesting time to do that after the expansion and after that weird gas timing, things like that. So his second orbital command is just about to finish, though.
Yeah, you can get that to be aggressive here. The big benefit for him this game is that it's going to keep him safe. It's going to help out with that bunker. You know, maybe he can get lucky and catch a stalker or something like that as it's running away, but... getting that early concussive shell is kind of nice to have. It's kind of a matter of preference. A lot of people prefer combat shields and stim and things like that too.
Wow, the Zealot's just going after the bunker at the moment. It's going to pull a couple more Marines away. He actually lets one of the Zealots die there, so not terribly clean. No.
Yeah, not the best move by Core. Not quite sure why he decided to attack there, and even more why he decided to not pull away until one of his Zealots ended up dying. But yep, certainly doesn't hurt Sting at all. He's not going to be complaining about that.
And here comes a little push now. That's kind of what I thought was happening, and it looks like the Stalker's going to have to run away. That's gone. Bye-bye. You've bitten the dust, and that Zealot is now within range of the concussive shell as well. So a nice little victory for Sting at the beginning of this game.
Yeah, Core's making some pretty big mistakes already in this game, losing those early units. He's not going to have any trouble pushing this off.
Sure.
You know, I think this is more of a poke from Sting rather than actual push, especially because it's not going to line up with Stim or anything like that. But, yeah, I mean, it doesn't help at all to lose those early units.
He has 6 more gates coming out right now, and they're going to finish up in about 5 seconds or so. Yeah, it looks like that's the case. And so he'll be on 7 gate in just a second. No Forge, though, so no upgrades coming along with this.
And I'll be shocked if he's just going up for some sort of just basic 7 gate. I mean, it's something you can do, but it's just not something that you see terribly often. It's a little bit surprising just because it's, I don't know. Okay, so yeah, he's going for a very heavy sentry 7 gate. He's just going to try to break it, but Sting's coming in from the back here.
Well, that's
they
no
came
good.
From behind.
Yes, they did, as a matter of fact.
It's like, where are all your units, Core?
And it looks like,
oh no.
A couple of probes pulled off the line now. That Marine going to retreat, run back home to a couple more Marines, and bye-bye probes. Oh my God! It looks like
around here. This game is about to get very interesting.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Sting has another bunker going down, but it's not going to get down anywhere near in time.
All right, well, here we go. We're going to find out if he has enough. So the attack has come through for Core up at the front. A bunch of SCVs are pulled off the line right away. There are still a bunch of sentries with Guardian Shield available. More probes are being pulled off the line back here, though. Inside of Core's base, there are a few Zealots that are closing as well, but there's not really a lot there, and they're not doing all that much damage.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Sting is going to be in more trouble than Core is at this point. We'll have to see how many workers each of them lose when the day is done. A lot of sentries left, not a lot of stalkers, and he's letting those sentries get shot by the bio units that are still left.
Yeah.
Results being occupied by the SCVs. Looks like everything's been cleaned up at Core's base, though.
Yes. But he is down to 45 supply now, and it looks like, let's take a look at the total workers killed.
Wow.
Drawing even soon, but Sting is a little bit ahead for the time being. Of course, that's going to get caught up as soon as that line goes down, but it looks like, oh, there's a bunch of sentries there starting to drive off these Marauders.
I think Core.Prime might just barely be able to take this. There's not going to really be many more Warpins at all for him because he's so low on probes right now.
Right.
But he may have just enough. I don't know. Yeah, Sting's doing the smart move, kind of backing up into his main.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see here what he can offer. He is just 1 down on workers, but of course, once those mules start mining, his economic rate is actually going to be a bit better than his opponent.
Yeah, Core's actually in great shape here now. He's got 2 bases mining. He's forced his opponent to lift his second one. Yep, not bad. He's just going to try the soft contain here for a little while, and oh no, he's actually going to try to break the ramp. Yeah. A little bit of a dangerous move here.
Yeah, definitely. Wow, it looks like Sting just going to go ahead and move down to the low ground. Those Zealots are pretty resilient, but there's no Guardian Shield available, so they're actually going to die. Guardian Shield would have helped immensely right there. But if he can just focus down the sentries, which it looks like he will, that actually weakens Core's position quite a bit. And now Sting is starting to reinforce pretty well. Looks like that ramp wasn't completely closed off. A couple more Marines thrown into the fight as well. Not much here to tank damage. A couple of Zealots warped into the back just for that purpose. But there are now basically medevacs for every unit out there.
Yeah, the medevacs are helping so much here, but Core just, I don't know, he's just not able to really push this back into the base anymore. Warping in some more stalkers, that's not going to work at all.
Nope.
Yeah, Sting is going to easily be able to retake his expansion now.
Yep, definitely. And it looks like more stalkers dying as they run away, up by 19 supply now, and he will. There it goes. Set the orbital command back down on the low ground.
Yeah.
He has actually caught up, even surpassed his opponent in workers, and now he is going to be adding in mules to that as well. And once that second command center gets floated down, he is going to be just fine on economy.
Oh no, Sting warped in more units, I think. Oh no, that is just a pylon and a probe. Okay, it looked a little bit bigger than just that on the main map. But yeah, I'm actually shocked that Core decided to try to push that. If he just kind of sat outside the base and then moved away when he saw his opponent was coming out, he'd be in a much better spot right now. As is, he kind of gave the lead back to Sting in a big way, and looks like Sting wants to try to take advantage of it.
All right, well, he's going to make his way out. Of course, Core, can't really defend up at the front here because Sting could do exactly what he did last time and just walk around. And there's not enough DPS in the anti-air there to prevent these medevacs from actually just lifting off the units and dropping them on either to the high ground here or just right inside.
A little bit of a panic force field there from Core, too, putting 2 down, pretty stacked.
Yep. And it looks like there's just 1 left. Can he get around it? Not quite.
You can barely squeeze through there. It's like, Don't leave me hanging.
And it looks like Corey is almost planning on giving up his natural now.
Yep. Still got that ramp there, but like you said, I think it's
oh,
going to be tough. Yeah, the mana mule.
Already,
Get out
wow.
of my game. Who is this, Startail Bomber? Mana muling already?
Sting, man, he is making his opinion known in this game. That Nexus is not long for this world.
No.
A few Zealots are making their way down the ramp, but of course with all the energy gone, it looks like just, well, there is actually one Guardian Shield available. I didn't know if there was going to be any, as a matter of fact. Good target firing there from Sting, picking off a lot of Zealots as they made their way up. Now it doesn't even matter that there's a couple of Force Shields there, so there's just way too much damage output for Sting to be driven back.
Pretty nice micro here. The force fields are kind of breaking things up a little bit, but looks like there's more reinforcements coming in for Stim. I gotta say, I love that he's not microing his medevacs with his units. Okay, now he is, but for a while he wasn't, and that was cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice. There's no need to micro medevacs. GGO.